Hi everyone, welcome to the channel where we learn, create, and share. My name is Greg, and in this project video, I'm going to be creating two mini swords, one with stain on it and one that's been engraved and painted. In today's video, I'm going to be using the Xtool S1 laser machine featuring a powerful 40-watt laser module. Next up, we're going to jump into the computer and check out today's graphic file. That file, by the way, will be available to download in the video description. Now, before we jump into the computer, I've got a quick question for you. When you're using your Xtool machine, do you prefer to use the Xtool software or Lightburn software? I'd greatly appreciate it if you could drop me a quick comment down below and let me know. All right, let's jump into the computer and check out today's graphic. The project's loaded in, and we're going to see that there's two swords, and that's because this top one has a blunted tip, and that's what I recommend using for today's project. We're going to see on the bottom that I've got an extra 2 pieces of the handle and 2 hand guards, and that's for, if you choose to, you can cut this out and make this a multi-layer project and then glue these handle pieces on the top and the bottom of your project. Same thing for the hand guards. Today's project, though, I'm only going to be doing one single layer, and I'm only going to be using the top graphic. So I'll just highlight everything and delete all of that out. And because this project, I am going to be making 2 of these mini swords, I'm going to duplicate the top one. Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste a duplicate copy. I'm going to be putting a texture over the top of the sword for the engraving. This is a file that I have licensed to me, so I can't share this one, but you can certainly go out to any websites like pixabay.com and download your own pattern to put on the sword. The process is going to be the same. I'm going to start out by selecting my graphic, and I actually want to do a tracing for this. I'll let that load in. After making some adjustments of, well, essentially turning everything all the way up, I'm reasonably happy with the results, and this is why I'm asking if you like to use the Xtool software or Lightburn. I think Lightburn does a lot better job of tracing images out just like this one. But on with the video. This looks good, and I'll hit save. I'll take that line tracing off to the side, and that original graphic, I can simply just delete that out. This next step is going to be really cool. What I'm going to do is place the graphic image over the sword, and I want to make sure that I select the sword first and then the graphic second, because we're going to use this combination where we're going to subtract out the second object that we selected. The first object stays, the second object gets deleted out. That's pretty quick and easy. As we zoom in, we'll also notice that I lost the outside cut border, and I do want to keep that. And I can just go down to the bottom graphic and I'll make a copy and paste that once again. And now I can layer that right on top. Next, it's just a couple simple steps of taking the outline of the mini sword, making sure that's on the cut layer. That image that I just traced, I'm going to move that over to an engraving layer, and we're going to select the material. I'm using 1/4-inch tiger ply. I recommend using a high quality plywood like tiger ply. This stuff has no glue voids in it, and the wood grain is very tight and even on both the top surface and the bottom surface. And the closest thing within the Lightburn, or excuse me, the Xtool software is going to be 6mm pine board, so that's what I have defaulted up at the top of the screen. About a minute later, and I have my settings, and we'll see that on the cut layer I have the outline of the 2 swords, and then I've got the engraving that we see here, and this looks pretty cool. And the next step is to load up some material, get the focus set on the laser machine, and I'll throw in some background music, and we'll watch a little video montage of these 2 mini swords being made on the S1 laser machine. Now this all together took about 17 minutes, and let's check out the results. And that cut cleanly through. I think I'll turn on the exhaust filter a little bit more. That's good. Last little bit of smoke is out of there. This is that full 1/4 inch Tiger ply that we took a look at earlier. Cut cleanly out perfectly. And now for the main thing that we really want to check out. Very clean cutout. A little bit of flashback from the honeycomb. We're going to get that cleaned up in just a minute. We'll check out the engraved one. This turned out perfect, exactly what I was looking for. Got a nice contrast between the bare wood and the engraving. And I was picking up a little bit of char on my hand, so I am going to give definitely this bare wood one a nice wash down with some LA's Totally Awesome. This stuff really melts away smoke residue off of projects and especially on honeycomb. On the engraved one, all I'm going to do is clean up the outside edges. I want to keep all of the color in this engraving, so I'll get these cleaned up and catch up with you in just a minute. The plain mini sword, I'm going to use some Danish oil. This one is going to stain, seal, and protect all within one step, making it a quick and easy project to start and finish. The engraved mini sword, I'm going to paint using some Krylon Fusion all-in-one metal finish. This is going to be the metallic oil rubbed bronze. That's a mouthful. It's going to be a nice dark color with a hint of that bronze metallic in it. I think that's going to look really good. And to get that engraving to pop out again, I'm going to be using some silver leaf rub and buff. I'm going to use a flat block with some paper on it, and I'm going to use that to transfer the rub and buff over to the non-engraved areas. So the engraved areas are going to have this nice metallic finish, while the non-engraved areas are going to have this high contrast silver rub and buff. The paint is all done on the engraved mini sword. I covered all the sides, including the back. Here's the engraved side. Hopefully that will show up on the camera. I'm going to put some of that on this Post-it, and I found a little block of wood. I'm going to just tamp down with that block of wood to get an even coat, and then I'm just going to tamp and maybe slide down the sword, and well, fingers crossed that this turns out. And that's part of the fun of creating these projects, is trying out different finishes to get different effects. And that's also why in this video, I did this one that just had a simple stain, because I'm guaranteed that I'm going to get great results on this one. And this one, we're going to get a little crazy with it and see what we can produce. These both turned out really great. They didn't take a whole lot of time. It wasn't a whole lot of work, but it was a ton of fun. This raised pattern with that silver rub and buff is exactly the effect that I was looking for. It kind of has a Damascus steel look to it on this nice wooden project. These projects were a lot of fun to make, and I hope that you'll try them out too. And I would love to see how yours turns out. Head over to the Laser Channel Facebook group and paste a photo. Now, if you've been a longtime viewer of the Laser Channel, you know that one of the previous videos, I made a much larger version of the sword, and that looks like this. This one is full size. If I can get it all into the frame, this is going to be 4 feet big or 4 feet long. And I put all kinds of detail into the handle and carving and the handguard, along with the the blade, the texture with the paint that I put on there. So if you'd like to check that out, I'll have a link down in the description to that video as well. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to show this video some love by giving it a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. Not only is it a great way to help the laser channel grow, it's an awesome way to connect video content like this with other great viewers just like you. Well, until I see you again in the next video, learn, create, and share.